This is where good decisions happen at 5 in the morning in a Hampton Inn in New Jersey. Wish me luck. Well, here we are, about a half hour in. I just had this beautiful experience where we're biking along this creek, and I was like, what is that sound? Something is coming out of the creek, and it was two deer just running up alongside me, sort of chasing, or just running and playing. So it's dawn, so I've got my reflectors on, car back, and my lights and everything. Let's see, maybe I'm out ahead of a little group that's going a nice easy pace, along with Rebecca from the New England Randonneur who I came down with. We're having a good time. I think a whole bunch of the speedos that I was like happy to be hanging with, they're doing the 600K, so maybe that's the right pace for me to start out with. I think that's probably wise. And looks like dawn is coming, or sunrise. I'll try and capture the New York state line, must be coming up soon. Clear back. That was pretty. Yeah. Beautiful, eh? This is pretty. Dawn on the Hudson River. Done this before for the Grand Fondo NY. Ride report. Whoops. Going along the Hudson River. Found a bunch of Randonneurs guys that are doing the 600 at a good clip, but still trying to keep within themselves, so I think that's a good bet for me. We just came down through some big hills, so I used my aero advantage to cruise ahead a little bit, but they're right over my shoulder. And as soon as we start going uphill, oh, it's a buddy step. Alright, it's gonna be fun. To Bear Mountain Bridge, it says. We stay here, though. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of scenic sections, but this is pretty good. This is a big Cold Springs climb. We're following some creek bed, maybe the Cold Spring. And my goal is to see exactly how slow I can take this section. Try and take it as slow as I can. See if those guys can catch up with me. Because this was the area that could kill me if I try and cook myself on it and keep up with those two guys that are down the road. You can't see them for a reason, because I'm going slow. Maybe I spoke too soon about surviving the hill out of the Hudson. Looks like there's a little bit more of a rise. Appalachian Trail must go through a little vale there. On we go. Big hill, but the view is stunning. Whoever's farm this is here on the hillside. Sure knows what they got going on. Beautiful. And steep. Okay. Just past a sign that said, "Welcome to Sharon, Connecticut." State number 3. That means we're at rest point, checkpoint 2. Coming right up at 95 miles. Have to say I don't feel as fresh as I'd like to on checkpoint 2 of 6, but I still got something left. Having a great time. I'm not worrying too much. Set myself some smart goals. Instead of trying to get to checkpoint 2 on my original time, I said, why don't I set a goal of finishing all my water by the next checkpoint? And I got that done, so unlocking the goals and achievements. Oh, see the sign for Cornwall. Cornwall Bridge Road. As we come into checkpoint 2, I'll note I did fast time into checkpoint 1 around 15 miles an hour. My total average is now 14, which means, 13.3 miles an hour. My average over the second leg, but that is maybe the hilliest leg, so I got that going for me. And doing the whole thing at 13 on average would still be just fine. Left into control. Here we are. Right by the bargain barn.
How long do you think you're going to hang out for?
Whoops. Here we are in Hillsdale, New York. We made a left turn onto Hillsdale Road in Massachusetts, in Egremont. We're heading to Hillsdale, New York. It's a state road and there's a fair amount of traffic. I think this road goes like to the Taconic. There's a lot of trucks that need to get stuff where it's going. There's a nice big hill up to the ski resort, and I think there's a big hill to the overpass, the Taconic, and then it's downhill to Hudson. I was riding with the 600K riders for a while there, or 4 of us, all 3 on skinny tires and me. One guy just dusted me in the last hill and went ahead. The other 2 guys dropped back and are pacing themselves in the last hill. And that's fine, because this hill here is going to be miserable, so I'm just going to take my time. Maybe I'll see the guys behind me pretty soon. Up and up we go. It's pretty though. Nice afternoon. Sun is out. Guns are out. I'm going to start panting soon, so I'll turn this off. Alright, here we are in new territory. We've passed the 300K mark. Just did 10 miles on the Dutchess County Rail Trail. And we are motoring them with John and Kerry and Greg. And they've been flying, making up time. So we're going to come into the Cold Springs rest stop around 8. Which puts me on like 14 miles an hour for the whole shebang so far. And we got our lights on, we got our vests back on, and I'm starting to feel a little spent, but I still got my spirits. So I'm looking forward to this. This might be less video now that we're getting to dark. Maybe there'll be some dusky video.
Hey, it's Sunday. I'm back home. I made it. Let me do the wrap up, since I think I left off when it was starting to get dusky on Saturday night. I was motoring back from Hudson with John and Kerry. I was mostly hanging on the back as they were flying along at 22, 25 miles an hour. I was leading my way up the climbs a little bit, and we stuck together. John had lost his light. His light had malfunctioned, and so he wanted to ride together, and that was great. We made it on into the last control point at around 8:20, just as it was getting from dusk to dark. One of the guys, John, the other John, wanted to like get something to eat, so we dilly-dallied a while. We were probably there 40 minutes or so before we got back on the road and stuck together all the way down from there, going straight down through Cold Springs and Garrison up to the Bear Mountain Bridge. You know, it was dark and there were some trucks passing us kind of fast. And then we came over the Bear Mountain Bridge, and as we come to the bridge, you see a bright full moon low in the sky, lighting up all the clouds from underneath, and the whole Hudson River is twinkling, and it was just a beautiful sight. And then we knew we're almost there. I dropped my chain, and Carrie had a mechanical, so we hung back while John went ahead. John's lights started working again, so he felt good going ahead. And we took it pretty slow that last little bit. Got in at 1:45. We made the last rest stop at 10:45. There was a convenience store I had scouted out that was supposed to be done at 10:30, and luckily they stayed open a little late because it was Saturday night. It wasn't too hairy. There was one town that we went through, Haverstock, where it was like we came through around midnight or 12:30, just as last call was happening, and it was a little crazy with lots of drunks on the street. But for the most part, it was just suburban streets, and rolled on in. Carrie and John were getting up this morning to do it again, to finish their 600K. So bless them, and I'll find out how they did. I made my way in. Let's see the ride by the numbers. I'll try and put up on the screen. It is, I finished in 19 and a half hours, which was 15 miles an hour moving time, which was like dead on my aggressive target, but 13 miles an hour on the total time with the elapsed time. So not the best for me for control discipline, but still got the whole thing done in under 20 hours, which puts me all set for my goal to be able to do a 600 in 30 hours. And it was a blast. You know, there were periods where I was really tested going up those hills, and I was so spent by the end I was wobbling a little bit over the road, which wasn't the best, but for the most part there were shoulders and things, so it turned out great. And yeah, I'm hopefully going to be recovered. I'm a little jelly leg today. I'm going to try and stretch a good amount. I got the bike cleaned off. I'm going to tune it up and see if there's everything's still in great working order, and I'll be out next weekend. So see you on the road. Bent not broken. Signing off.